the beautiful thing about starting Parable is people just wanted a brand new start.
Church, the weekly services, the community. It's not just the message or getting a good scripture. Like just being in that community is something that I am all in on.
Home is felt in the community and the connection and the preaching of God's word.
And so I attended one Sunday when we were in the studio in October, and the exact same thing. As soon as I walked in, I was like, oh, this place is warm. I remember walking out and I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I've been missing.
And that to me says that every single human is searching. They're searching for home. How do you manage friends, family, life, faith and church?
Rather than putting it in baskets, it's all kind of in this blur with God in the center.
Yeah.
Even with my dad, I see my dad every Sunday at church.
The other side to growth that people might not understand is growth comes with problems.
The faith to step out of that and actually focusing on, okay, what did God want me to learn from that experience?
Schedule who you want to become, because you'll prioritize the person you want to be. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Parable Essentials podcast. What a great pleasure, honor it is to have you a part of this episode. I'm excited for today. But listen, just before we get started, make sure you do all the things you do online. Like, subscribe, share it. This is a blessing for us, but we pray it's a blessing to you. We know that many of our team join in, but we also know many people from outside of our church, around the globe. That's right. It's global. No, the guys that act like they're global. Anyway, it's just so great to have you on board as we continue just to unpack the journey of building church and leadership, culture, community, faith, and all things Jesus. My name's Peter Toggs. My wife and I, Laura, are the lead pastors at Parable Church. And today I get the privilege of hosting my good friends here, Kristy Brisbane and Luke Harrison, which are not an item, and they're not just come from a funeral, and they're not in counselling.
No.
They are incredible young entrepreneurs building amazing businesses, but also great people of our church. And I feel like I've known you guys for quite some time. Watching you guys grow up in church and youth ministry and all that, and also then seeing you step out in faith and start businesses and take over the world and all of that. Yeah. So, Luke, tell us a little bit about what you do when it comes to
an
business.
Introduction.
Yes.
You should be a YouTube star. Like, subscribe.
He is a YouTube star.
I don't even know why I say that. I just see that. People saying, I'm like, does it even help? I don't know.
Well, you were reading the script. Bro, we've known each other since I had hair, since I was literally born. Myself, I run a real estate company business. Buy, sell, rent properties, and that's what I do, man. In terms of the job role, the business, and what I do, it's so fluid. The job role's endless, but real estate. That's what I'm into. That's what I love doing. I love it.
And you're also one of the musos at our church.
Yes.
One of the incredible drummers.
Comeback tour.
Yes, the comeback tour. I remember you growing up in youth ministry being one of the drummers, and you were one of my favourites. And then to see you back on the tools, on the sticks.
I love it.
It's so cool. What's that been like coming back to, because you took some time
Honestly,
off.
I'm so lucky because I took 4 years off. I didn't play anything. Wow. And then Parable started, and Laura kept man, imagine this acoustic set with every week, and then the DMs and the texts, and then 1 week a cajon, this little drum that you just play with your hands.
The one you sit on. And
So I hadn't played in ages, but playing a cajon, you're not as nervous. Sure. And then it slowly grew. If that didn't happen, I wouldn't have been able to play drums at church again, because I couldn't have just gone all in with a click in ears, mate. I would have been the world's worst drummer. So I got so lucky. But I love it, man. It's good fun.
So cool, man. We're so glad that you're part of church and part of the creative team and
I love
amazing things,
it's good
bro.
fun.
So cool. And this is Kristy Brisbane, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like I've seen you grow up, obviously in youth and church, but then I felt like you started real early when it came to. I feel like you started like in year 9, started your business, which is called All Sorts Sorted.
Oh, good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
So what do you do, and how did you get into it, and what age? Give us the
So
rundown.
I'm Kristy. I'm 24. When I was 19, in my first year of uni, I started a cleaning business. And I had no intention of hiring anyone, was just sort of like a side hustle whilst I was going through that first COVID lockdown in Sydney, and wanted to do something extra on the side once that sort of eased a little bit. And then after a couple months, just by myself solo, I thought this can't be that hard to hire someone. Figured it out, got that sorted nice and easy, and then press copy and paste.
The plug.
Press copy and paste a couple times, and now 5 years down the track, we've got a team of 30 cleaners.
Wow.
That all work quite decent hours. So we've fluctuated in staff numbers over the years, but now we've got a really, really solid team.
Cool.
And we service mostly Northwest Sydney, but we have a team in Greater Brisbane and also a growing team in Southwest Sydney.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's growing and it's expanding.
Yeah, huge. So yeah, in 5 years we've grown.
Did you ever go to uni or study?
Yeah, I did actually.
Did you drop out?
No, I finished it. I wanted to. I got halfway through my degree and the business was taking off, and I said to my parents, I'm like, this is a waste of time. I'm dropping out. And they said to me, no. And then they said to me, you've spent 20K on half a degree. If you drop out now, you've got nothing to show for it except 20K worth of debt. If you keep going, you'll add another 20K of debt, but you'll have 2 pieces of paper.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I'll keep going. And it was really hard towards the end, but got it done. And now I forget that I ever had gone through that.
Wow.
Thanks for the reminder. So yeah, I did. I studied business and communication.
I feel like you two could have your own podcast. I don't need to be here. Like you two could.
You were supposed to start your own podcast.
Yeah, every year, man.
Luke bought all of my podcast gear off me
It's
to
sitting there.
start. Yeah,
Oh,
like he's
man.
got
Now
it
that I've
all.
seen these,
Yeah, he
I'm a
wants to
loser.
upgrade.
These
He wants
mics,
to
gosh.
upgrade, I know.
Yeah, this feels like you're like pretty official. You guys, I see you guys as also like young adults, and I don't mean that to make you. I mean, you are young.
No, I'll claim the young thing.
Yeah,
You're
stay
getting
with it.
old.
Oh, yeah.
I'm claiming the young thing.
All right.
But it's just so cool to see young adults plugged into church, but also living out their calling and dreams, if you like. And I've loved watching your guys' journey from afar because, you're making the house of God a priority, but you're also managing a big, busy life, and you're young adults, and you've probably got a world outside of, your job and everything you do where you want to hang out with people and get connected, or is the world changing where everyone's like 7 p.m.'s like too
We're
late
really
to have a
weird.
dinner?
We only hang out with work people.
Yeah.
I'll speak for myself. But our version of hanging out is in the office.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So how did you come to be a part of part of Parable? Just
Honestly,
as a little
I came out of my Hillsong with where I was under your leadership for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And the only reason I came out of Hillsong is I slipped out just because I became so obsessed with work. So I always wanted to be a pastor growing up, did Hillsong College, did everything. And then when I was, I think, 23, I slipped into real estate. And just became obsessed. And I remember, my first interview, I told the boss I can't work Sundays, I got church. Within 2 years, I was working 7 days a week, didn't go to one church service. So I didn't go to church for probably 2-3 years. And I just really, really loved working. And then when you guys started Parable, obviously we follow each other online, which is the power of social media. Like we follow each other. I saw that happen. Me, you, Laura would always send each other, random stuff, always just see you at a cafe. There was always those connection points. And to be honest, my dad started going.
Wow.
And he kept texting me saying, hey, come. And I just didn't want to see him go by himself because I know I guess the leadership that he was under at Hillsong falling away, he was in a bit of a lost place as well.
Sure.
So when he started going and then Laura started DMing me, replying to my auction saying, this is awesome, why don't you just do this after church today? Like every Sunday.
Wow, she had the direct marketing approach.
I loved it. And so I was like, all right, I'll come next Sunday. So I came and sat with Dad. There was like, 40 people in the room.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is what I've been missing for 3 years.
Wow.
Because I've been working 7 days a week. I thought everything was sorted. And as soon as I walked in, it's like that home feeling. I was like, oh, this is what I've been missing. And then I've just made it my promise to myself that, church, the weekly services, the community, it's not just the message or, getting a good scripture. Like, just being in that community is something that I am all in on.
That's cool, man.
I love
that. I love that. The journey, like hearing your journey a bit, because I think one thing Laura and I have definitely just noticed, for the last few years, things have evolved and the world shifted in so many ways. COVID and so many people fell out of pattern and rhythm for so many different reasons. There's not one reason, some because they got caught up in careers and and I wouldn't say people fell away from church, but they just fell out of habit and rhythm.
Yeah, of course.
And the beautiful thing about starting Parable is people just wanted a brand new start and brand new,
100%.
Just a clean slate.
And you said every week, you're like, if it's your first time, no one knows because it's our first time too.
Exactly.
You still say that.
All these people that have been out of church were like, I can sneak back in and no one will ever know.
Absolutely.
And we used to pretend that we were going to other churches. Oh yeah, I was just down the road. It was perfect.
No, it's so true. And that's something I say and continue to say, like, hey, if you're new here, like, it's all good. Like, we're all kind of new. Like, I know we're only 18 months young as a church, but that's still relatively new. We're all still trying to work out our people and our circles and everything like that. But no, it's been cool to witness your journey. Kristy, for you, I love your family, by the way. They are the coolest. I feel like I've known your family, particularly your brothers, for so long. Coolest family. But again, your journey of coming to be a part of, what's that journey been like the last few years of church and life and ministry?
Very similar to Luke, except I wasn't working 7 days a week.
Yeah. I have wisdom.
Yeah. Well, a little bit. But I had a really strong youth presence and loved my time in youth. And then my direct leader, tribal leader, she was stepping away from youth. And to be completely honest, I just felt lost after that. I was like, I'd lost my direction. It felt like I was going there just for the community and not so much for church and to be filled up again. And so I stepped away as well. And it was sort of, when church was going through all of the leadership struggles and things like that, and things were changing, and change is hard for people in so many aspects. And sometimes the easiest thing is to just give up and walk away. And so my family, my mum and dad had been out of church for a while, not attending regularly, things like that. And so it was easy to just put it on the back burner and go, I'll go next week, or I'll go next month. And next month never came. And then it got to about October 2023. And I honestly just felt like I'm missing something. Wow. And the missing part was like a God-centered community. My friends weren't really going to church. I was, spending a lot of time with business people, and there was just a loss of direction or meaning, I guess, in why we were doing things. And so I was like, okay, well, I've kind of been away from church for so long, it doesn't feel like home to go back into how I was. And, all of the connections I'd made at church were youth related. And so it felt weird stepping into a different environment by myself. And so I was like, maybe it's just easy to go to a new church, just a fresh start. And so I had a look around at literally every church in this local area online. I didn't visit. I remember you saying one time people like to suss things out online before they go. Yeah. That was 100% me. And I watched every single video you guys had on your social media, trying to see, is this something that I could feel like confident walking into by myself. And so I attended one Sunday when we were in the studio in October, and the exact same thing. As soon as I walked in, I was like, oh, this place is warm. Literally, it was very warm.
One little small aircon.
Then the next week I knew to sit next to the door. But I remember walking out and I was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I've been missing. And so, especially I guess when you grow up in church, it becomes a part of your identity. That feeling of home and community. And so I was like, I could get around this for sure. Wow. And so I kept coming back. And then Christmas Eve 2023, I said to mum, dad, my little brother especially, they hadn't really been going to church regularly, do you guys want to come to the Christmas Eve service at Parable? They came along. Again, it was packed. We were trying to find seats for everyone. We were trying to get, the feel for a new church, but they loved it. And then they kept coming, and they've been coming ever since. And now the whole fam is back in church and loving it, and we go every weekend, and good community.
I absolutely love that. And I love that, you know, both of you described like home, because if I just think back to that studio space, and particularly coming from the amazing world that we came from, of resource and support, and, you know, the amazing church that Hillsong was, and then, you know, we're starting again, but the fact that you guys go, oh, it felt like home, well, that means it wasn't because of an awesome LED screen. I love LED screens. It wasn't because of an awesome sound system. I love a sound system. Like, I think we just had one person up there with an acoustic, and then I'd get up and preach. But home isn't like, it's home is felt in the community and the connection and the preaching of God's word. And, you know, the Bible says that God put eternity on every human heart. And, you know, that to me says that every single human is searching. They're searching for home. And they're not only just searching for community, they're searching for Jesus. But they just don't know that. And I love the similarities between your story. You both were like, there's something missing here. Yeah. And I know right now there's people outside of this room, around the world and around Australia, who are searching. They just don't know what that is. What would you, I don't know, would you speak into that? What would you say to someone who was in your position, or who is in your position, and it's like they know something's missing?
Yeah, 100%. I think when you are in, if we're speaking, if I can speak directly to business people or people who are, you know, really involved with their career, you're almost like on the surface level. If I look at your Instagram or your resume, you don't need God. Like, you've sorted it, bro. You've cracked the code. You've got enough money. You got the house sorted. You've got the car. You got no bills. Like, that desire or need on the surface level isn't there. And I think we're in a world now where there's so many band-aids. You can just get distracted. Like, there's so many band-aids every Friday night, Saturday night. Everything that is available to you can just distract yourself. But those people, like, at the end of the day, sometimes they don't even know in the moment how much they're lacking that soul feeding home. Right. And I think as soon as I walked in, I realized how much damage I had done to myself without even realizing. And I think maybe that's a bit of a can of worms, but the enemy doesn't want you to know that he's causing damage on you. Like, he's not going to make it real obvious. He's going to sneak his way in, and then inch by inch, and that's what he did. And I thought, well, if it's taken this long to do this much damage, obviously there's going to be a journey out of it. But with that soul searching, like, I think if there's people listening, watching, or whatever it is, and you don't have that home, if you're not in an environment every single week where you're walking into an environment where no one works for you, no one's there to serve you, you're not paying for the environment, like, you're literally just surrounded by other people in your community, you're missing out completely. Because that is, like, that community of church, it's almost, I don't know if this is a good referral, we're going to have to take this out, but what's that festival in the desert at the moment?
Burning Man.
Burning Man. Right. I saw this thing on TikTok, and it was like, Burning Man, you don't bring money?
I'm so out of the loop with stuff like
this. You're not missing out. This thing, they got a sandstorm, they got flooded. Crazy.
But you can't bring money. You can't buy anything.
Right.
You can only give gifts and get gifts.
Wow.
And it's almost like when you come to church, like, you might have heaps of hope, and you meet someone that has no hope, and it's like you're gift giving. Wow. You know what I mean? It's like everyone's just bringing what they've got and giving it to each other.
That's cool.
So I think a big thing is, like, man, you might think your life's sorted, but don't wait for you to be in a position to need God to actually go get him, because it'll come. And if you wait to be in that hospital situation, you don't have to wait for that. Like, go get it now.
I love that.
And then obviously once you're in there, like, for me, I've realized there might be weeks where I'm like, I don't really need this environment this week. I'm exhausted. But then I think, well, is this still about me, or am I actually going to church for now other people?
Wow.
Like, who else needs the home that's walking in this week? If I'm not there, they're going to walk in by themselves.
Wow. And that's the thing that's blessed me about watching your journey, because, you know, when we're bumping in the morning at 6 a.m. or whatever it is, I know you've had a big week. You've probably just had a big sales day on Saturday, the day before, and we're loading in. And
or a big no sales day.
Or a big, okay, all right. Yeah, exactly. Or you've had a disappointing day. You're there bright and early, and you're setting up with the team, you're setting up the drum kit, you're doing the sound checks and all of that. And that to me is really inspiring to see that, because I go, here's someone with a big world, busy, worked on a Saturday, and then they're coming in on a Sunday and they're blessing someone else. You're serving others.
What the best part is, I walk in and there's already a guy that's been up since 4 a.m. who has a busier job than me that drove the truck there.
Yeah, wow.
And there's like 50 other of them, and you're just like, we're just all in this together, having a go.
It's so cool.
It's awesome.
Kristy, for you, so you started your business at 19?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about that journey. The doubt, surely. Did you experience anything like that? Or were you kind of just like, nah, this is what I'm confident in? Did you ever face imposter syndrome? Did you ever face feelings of going, I don't think I'm cut out for this? As a 19-year-old stepping out into the big wide world of business.
Yeah. Did you ever face imposter syndrome? More like, do you ever face imposter syndrome? I think when I was first starting, I had no idea what was ahead of me, and it was all just fun and games at the start. I had, time to spare and things to throw at it, and there was absolutely no risk involved whatsoever. So at the start, I guess it was more of just having fun with it. And, okay, what's the next cool thing I can do? All right, well, let's put the logo I made in, 30 minutes on a T-shirt. And then the T-shirt would come and you're like, oh, my gosh, I made this. And then, you'd send your first invoice and it's like, oh, that's so fun. Like, you'd open a business bank account and it's like all fun and games at the start, or I updated my website, or I made this video for Instagram, or I got 10 new followers, or whatever it is. When you're starting, it's all fun and games when you're young, because there's no risk involved. It didn't have to succeed.
Wow.
If it flopped and was a fail, so be it. It didn't matter.
Sure.
And I think as it grew and, you started employing people and people started relying on you to bring in work to pay their bills, and then it got bigger and you've got not just people who are direct staff, so they're bringing in work. If they don't work, they don't get paid, but you bring on, admin help, and then it's all of a sudden, okay, well, now I have to make a margin to cover their salary as well. And then, you get bigger and you've got compliance and safety and insurance, and then someone hurts themselves and you've got, that sort of thing happening. And as it gets bigger, there's bigger concerns or issues. And I think that's when it started to become more stressful and mean something more. It was my only source of income. I think about 9 months into having the business, I left my other job. And so then I was paying myself like $100 a week. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Because I had no risk, no bills to pay, nothing. I could live off that to start with and then slowly build from there. But I think the journey, it's all baby steps. And still, like now, you can get so lost in, okay, well, what's some outrageous goal? Let's try and do 30 mil rev by the time I turn 30. And that's some cool big goal that we can play in the distance. But it's like, to get there, I'm not going to land some $10 million contract tomorrow. I mean, that would be nice. But and stressful, but it's all baby steps. So with our team, we've got quite a team now on the admin side, management side. It's keeping them accountable to small, achievable goals.
Sure. Not
small-minded in vision, but small in,
right.
Okay, can we actually get this done in a time frame? And keeping them accountable to that, but then also holding myself accountable to small goals. So it's all just baby steps. People always ask, how'd you do this? How'd you do that? And I'm like, well, what's the next logical step? Just small step that you can take today, tomorrow, the next day, by the end of the week. And then after that, what's the next step? So it's all baby steps.
I love that. Growth is a great thing. I think we all want growth. We want growth in revenue. We want growth in, church. We want
fitness, whatever it is.
We all want growth, but the other side to growth that people might not understand is growth comes with problems.
100%.
I know in leadership and church, and as church grows, look, it was easy in the studio.
Yeah.
There was 50, 60 people there. It was easy.
No, you had headaches, but now that you're bigger, those headaches seem so tiny. But at the time, they were big headaches.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Sorry.
And no, that's perfect. That's exactly what I'm saying. And I always just look back at those days. And those days weren't far, by the way. They're only 18 months ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that was so cool. And as church is moving forward and we're seeing momentum and growing, it's awesome in one sense, but it's also like, oh, wait, like on a leadership level, it's like we've got to put in systems.
Yeah. And
something I posted the other day, if you don't follow me on Instagram yet, you should. But I wrote this is I should have wrote it down. I'm going to butcher it. But great vision needs great culture. Great culture needs a great team. Great teams need great systems, and great systems need values. That all came out of because as we're growing, I'm like, okay, vision's awesome. You can have we're going to make 30 million before I'm 30. That's awesome. but you actually need to make sure you've got the systems and the strategies and all of that. And you've got to break it down. I love what you said. Like, you've got to break it down day by day. So on a church leadership level right now, I'm like, okay, we've got this vision of continuing to see people reach with the gospel and everything. Okay, what can we do today that's going to impact that vision? And you've actually got to like zone into, what does today look like? You've got to break it down into baby steps, because I think a lot of us, we go, that's where we're going. It's like, okay, how do we get there? I don't know, but that's how we're going to get there.
And then you find yourself doing like 50 things at once.
Yes.
Okay, oh, cool. Well, when we're there, we're going to need this, and we're going to need this, and we're going to need that. So let's just start all of it today. Yeah. But that's like the worst possible thing. Yeah. So in my business, we have focus. So like each month we'll have a very specific focus, whether it's our training system, whether it's hiring, whether it's a specific area of sales that we want to focus on. And we'll have that as our focus. Other things will be playing around the edge. But when you have a focus, you're more likely to achieve that, and then you can move on. And so, that sort of thing works well.
Yeah. So business, you've stepped out, you've launched. Surely there's been some disappointments. Is there anything that you can share with us where it's like, you've hit some disappointments and discouragement, and where has faith played a role in that, and how have you, and it's just life. Life throws things your way, curveballs, whether it's personal stuff or even business stuff. How have you, feel free to shoot whoever, but don't shoot whoever. I mean, have a go and answer it. But, what's that look like? How has your faith played a role in discouragement in life?
For sure. Yeah, definitely. Business, I think one of the most impactful things about business is failing, and fail fast. If you were only, 2 failures away from the next biggest success, how quickly would you want to fail at something? Wow. Very quickly. And I think, like, for me, a couple of years ago, I made the decision to add a completely new and different service to my business, thinking that's going to change everything, that's going to blow us up, that's going to make us huge, that's going to make me achieve all my goals. There was very little thought that went into it. It was all vision-based. It was all, okay, well, that's going to be so great. Very little research that went into it, and then sort of just pulled the trigger on it without thinking how that, from a money point of view, from a team point of view, from all of it, would impact the business that was working really well. Right. And then that experience that dragged on for much longer than it should have because of ego. And when ego gets involved, you're like, I really don't want to fail. People are going to think I'm such a failure, which is the direct opposite of what happened. When we finally pulled the plug on that and we were like, this is not serving us, this is not working out, this is not where our best interest and time and money is laid, people gained more respect for us because we had the I don't know what the right word is, but we could pull the plug on something that wasn't working and stand up to that. But that experience alone, there's so much that has changed in my business because of that, for the better. Wow. Yes, it was like the hardest struggle ever, and we're still working out things because of that. But I've met the most amazing people because of that. If we didn't go through that phase in business, we would be half what we are now. That situation and that big challenge is the reason that we have the systems we have now, the processes, the compliance, the advisors, literally everything that's good that I would pull out of my business to say this is great and this is really good is because of that mistake. Or it wasn't a mistake, it was just something that didn't work out, but it was the biggest learning curve.
Wow.
And so that challenge, huge. But the faith to step out of that and go, okay, actually, I learned a lot from that, and not get down in the dumps about the mistake and how much it might have set you back potentially.
Good, yeah.
And actually focusing on, okay, what did God want me to learn from that experience?
Yeah. Wow.
Hugely.
So well said.
The faith to keep moving forward after something that you thought was going to save everything.
Well, it's also it's just your identity.
Yeah.
If your identity is being the successful person, when you fail, you're going to crumble.
Wow.
And I think some people get that lesson early on. Either way, you're going to learn that lesson, whether you like it or not. But I think as long as your identity isn't what you're doing, your identity, is I'm a child of God, I'm a good boyfriend, I'm a good son, things like that. I'm a good dad for people. Those are the things that identify you and give you, I guess, worth and purpose and the reason you wake up. And then the failure at work, the failure in your career, it almost becomes addicting.
Yeah.
I crave failing. When
You learn so much, yeah.
Like when I started real estate. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do videos. And I spent way too much money. Like I did all these videos, and I used to literally get bullied from these videos because I was like screaming at the camera, and I loved it.
Wow.
And I was just like, this is awesome. And
like
then,
trolls? Like
yeah, trolling. Yeah. I had like one video, it got shared like 1,000 times between DMs. And I was like, well, they're not sharing it because the house is good. Like, it's a built whatever house. And people would send me screenshots. But that taught me, one, obviously I don't care what people think. But two, my identity is not in this. Like, I'm just having fun. And that's when I started to crave failure, because now those videos really blew up my business.
Wow.
And people aren't laughing at it anymore because they're like, well, I want you to do one for my house. Can you come sell mine?
Wow.
But it just taught me, like, I just crave failure. I'm like, every single successful person I meet or see, and we're so lucky at church because you're just surrounded by people that literally other people pay to see. Like, people are going to these Tony Robbins events. I'm going to Toggs' leaders meeting, stealing the entire content and just sharing it at my team meeting. It's so good. But I love
paid him
it,
to say that.
Like, all these people, they just failed.
Yeah.
And you know what? They failed earlier, like you said, fail early. They were just willing to fail earlier than anyone else. So Parable, you guys are like, let's just go for it.
I love that.
You know, but that's what I've loved about watching you guys rebuild. Like, you went from sorry to say this in lame terms, you went from the top of the top to boom, reset, restart, $0.
Yeah.
Like, 0 venues, 0 team. You guys were the world's, you know, you had team under you, and then it's like, all right, bro, you have 2 cats and a dog under you. Like, you have nothing.
Yeah.
And to see you rebuild is just like so inspiring, because you guys, you don't care if you fail, you crave it.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, we did this service at this time, didn't work, boom, what's next? Like, it's not your identity.
Yeah.
But that's the big thing about watching you guys. Like, especially what I've learned from you is you're the world's best delegator. In a good way.
Yeah.
Because one, you're willing to delegate and you know how to delegate, but two, you believe in people.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be the youth pastor, the main pastor, the pastoral pastor, and the pastor of pastors. Like, you're like, whoa. If you're not, you know, spending all Wednesday, Thursday writing that leadership message, there's going to be nothing good to share at leaders meeting. So you are very good at delegating and believing in people before they even believe in themselves.
I think it's a big reliance on your team, and you guys would have to do this with your staff. Is like, you can't have your whole thing that you're doing built around you. It's about empowering people, and if you're going to empower people, I'm guessing you're going to have to trust them.
Yeah.
And,
that's what I was going to say.
You know what? It's easy for us to crave failure, but are you okay with your team like failing?
Yeah.
And your staff failing?
And how do you react to that?
that? You know, and you know, you might say I'm a delegator, but it's actually hard sometimes to delegate, because one, you're afraid. Will they do it how I want it? Do it,
and they usually won't.
Yeah, and they usually won't do it exactly. Or will they do it better than how I do? Which is honestly my heart. And I think sometimes why people don't delegate is because they think they're the best at it.
Yeah.
And two, that person might do it better than them, and they might not do it as good as them. You know? So sorry,
No. I was just butting off what you said. It's so true. Like, I think action is the biggest thing. When people sit back and they're like, oh, I could do this or I could do that, and they think about it, or maybe they don't think about it, and there's just no action involved. There's no step forward.
Sure.
It's pulling the trigger and actually saying, okay, well, I could fail at this, but what's the worst that's going to happen if it's a flop? Like, okay, I might be a little shorter on money, I might be a little shorter on whatever it is, but knowing what the risk is, and the delegating thing is huge. Most of the most successful people will tell you the first thing you should start doing is delegating. What's your time worth is what they say in the business world. What's your hourly rate? Because if you're doing something that someone else could do better and cheaper, that means your time's freed up to do higher value tasks, then the delegating is worth it. And so, I think the delegating thing's huge.
It's so good. How do you guys manage to we touched on this a moment ago, like, you know, you guys are in church, there's a commitment there, and yada, yada, yada. But then how do you manage friends, family, life, faith, and church? And has that come, and you you might not be on top of it. I think it's an ever evolving thing, right? But how have you guys kind of managed to do that? Is it kind of just something where you go, no, when I say something, I'm going to do it. Like, I'm going to follow through. How have you guys, give us a little bit of wisdom on how you guys do that?
It's all incorporated. So my friends go to my church.
Right.
Like the people that I want to spend time with, they're going to Parable.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to work, like I've become very good friends with the people that I'm working with. So I think just incorporating the lifestyle, trying to, rather than, putting it in baskets, it's all kind of in this blur with God in the center.
Yeah.
Even with my dad, I see my dad every Sunday at church.
Cool.
There's a connection point for family, things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, in terms of balance, I think making sure that you're not categorizing everything. Right. Because if you're at church and that in your head is you skipping friends, that's going to mean you're not even focusing while you're at church. But I think the other thing, and you would definitely agree with me on this, is you have to be so good at saying no.
Wow.
I've skipped weddings, birthday parties, nights out. Like, I am the world's best, I think it's called Irish goodbye.
What's that?
Well, you're in an event, you kiss babies, take photos.
Yeah.
And you don't say bye to anyone. I'm out of there.
Yeah.
Like, people think I'm at these events. I
Irish
get there
people.
at 6, take photos. By 6:30, I'm gone. No one even knows.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really good at saying no to things that aren't going to fill me up. And in a really healthy way, I'm selfish. Like, something that's not going to be awesome for me, and I'm not going to give 100% to it. That, friendship dinner from the high school people that I haven't spoken to in 5 years.
Yeah.
Love yous, but it's just not worth it. Like, I'm saying no to that. So when I am at Parable, I'm all in. Like that birthday event of one of the guys at work on Saturday night, I'm not there. And I've called him before. I've let him know. I've given him a gift because I've got Parable in the morning. I don't want to be out late, with these people. So I think, strengthening your no means the people you're saying yes to, it's a way stronger yes.
Wow. That's really cool. I think it's like the power of like non-negotiables, and I'm sure as you guys have grown, you've got to build non-negotiables. And non-negotiable, the way I describe non-negotiables is like make the decision before you have to make the choice. Yeah, it's like I didn't make the decision to be, if we use just church as an example, to be in church. I didn't make the decision to be in church on the Sunday. For me, I made the decision, 20-something years ago when I said, I'm going to put you first. Very first thing in my week, first thing in my finances, first thing. It's the decision before the choice, so that when things come to distract, and life is life, right? Life will distract and, da-da-da-da. But it's like, no, I've made a non-negotiable decision. Now, that's not to say there's not flexibility and there's things come up and all that. I'm not saying that. But I think having that commitment, I think you're so right, is being good at saying no's a non-negotiable. This is a priority. You can't negotiate with me on this. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's kind of this righteous stubbornness, to go, this is a priority to me, and you prioritize what you value.
And people respect it.
No
one's inviting you to golf on a Sunday and getting offended when you say no. They don't even invite you. They move the golf to Saturday just to get Toggsy there because they already know that you respect yourself, so they're going to respect you.
Yeah, I've got friends that they're not in church yet, but they'll go, oh, what about Sunday morning? Oh, no, you can't. You've got church. Like, they know. And they're like, okay, well, let's do Saturday morning or let's do Monday morning, whatever it is. That it becomes like a thing, and in a respectful way, I think. With the friend thing before, keeping tabs on making sure that the people you're spending time with are filling you up, like you said.
Good.
Like, sometimes when you get older as an adult, you can hang on to friendships that just become catch-ups, and all you do is you catch up once every couple of months, like, oh, what did you do the last couple of months? And it's just a catch-up. You're not making any new memories with the people. You're not really doing life with them. You're just sort of filling each other in on what you've done. And I think for me, one of the biggest things was, I want friends who are going to do the journey with me, not just wait a couple months to hear what the last couple of months have been like. And oh, yeah, I saw that on your Instagram. Like, no, like, I want to live life with you. Like, let's make memories together. And so naturally, when you're working, most of your friends will end up being people that you work with in this environment, or they're very similar professions, or like I've still got really good friends from school, and it's just about making the effort, you know, and choosing friendships that fill you up, and, then balancing, family events and things like that. And
I mean, you guys grew up in youth ministry with me, so it's like you've probably heard me say, like, you become the people you hang around as well. And I like what you're saying about, like, filling you up. Like, you know, the world today uses the whole positive energy. Like, is everyone giving you positive or negative energy? And I'm not exactly talking about energy, but I really do protect my time and also with who I hang out with, because I don't want to be. So you know how some of you hang around people and you walk away from it's like, man, that was. I feel exhausted. More negative and I feel exhausted.
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
Yeah, they took from you.
And I think it's important, you know, and don't get me wrong, there's times you got to be there for your friends and they've got to unload and they've got to vent.
That's different though. Even when that happens, you still don't feel like they took from you. Yeah. You still feel like sad because they're going through something and you're like, how can you help them? It's different when you're with people who literally, you can tell their motivation is just not aligned with your time and your values.
Yeah, totally. Exactly. And I think when it comes to your friendships, you've got to be around people that are the people that you want to become. Because I think, I always say, I'm saying it to my kids now, which is funny because I've been saying it to kids for 15 years, is you will become, make no mistake, the people you hang around. 100%. And I've seen it time and time
again. You know what? You have to be, and you would agree, so diligent with your diary to make sure you're actually hanging around the people you want to. Because if you don't put it in your diary, you're just going to naturally slide into hanging out with people that you shouldn't be. And then 3 months later, you're like, why am I exhausted?
So true.
Like, why am I starting to think like this or follow this? Yeah. And you realize you didn't put your good friends in your diary. Yeah. It's not in your diary. It's not going to happen, especially when you're a busy person.
No, 100%. Totally. I always say, schedule who you want to become. Schedule who you want to become, because you'll prioritize the person you want to be. We sometimes tag along with life. We schedule and we keep up with everyone's. And these days, I'm not playing tag along with anyone anymore. I've decided, no, I'm going to schedule who I want to become. I want to be a good dad. I need to schedule in time and input in. I need to be a good husband. I need to schedule. I need to be a good pastor. That'll be helpful for you guys. I need to schedule in time with God. I've got to schedule in my quiet times. And I think a big part, people fill their schedules. And I think busyness has become this glamorous thing. It's like the more busy you are means you're successful. I actually think you're not meant to live your life busy. I think you're meant to live your life full.
Yeah.
And I think God calls you to work hard, be fruitful and multiply, work the land, take dominion of the land. That's what he talks about in Genesis. But I think busyness, you know, I tried to stop saying like, when someone's like, how's your week? I've tried to stop saying busy because I noticed I started saying busy because I want them to know, like, I was working really hard this week. Yeah. But I've started to say, it was a big week, but it was productive, you know, because I think busyness is another way of saying, like, I'm a big deal.
It's almost like a Band-Aid. You're distracting yourself. So you just, I'm busy.
I used to get so caught up in busyness. Even just earlier today, my office manager, she was like, what have you got on this day? What have you got on this day? What have you got on this day? And I'm like, my next 8 Saturdays are booked, which stresses me. But I said, it used to be the opposite. I used to get stressed if the calendar was free because I wasn't busy. Wow. And I was like, I've got to do this, fill it up, fit as much as I can in. And then that burnt me out really bad. Now I'm like, saying, like, you know, scheduling who you want to be 100% and making sure you're scheduling time for yourself in that.
I think that's so important. Getting that margin in that space. Well, guys, we could honestly keep talking, and I loved having you guys on here, and I think we'll get you guys back on here because I want to hear the great praise reports of things happening in business. But if there was anything departing, any wisdom that you would drop a line of, it could be anything from personal
to parable
entrepreneur. That's Lukey's.
That's what you're missing.
If there's anything you could drop to those listening in, from being business owners or being young adults yourself, or anything that you're learning as you're maturing, as you're growing, what would that be? Like, even what's God speaking to you about, or what have you been thinking about, like, recently? So, anything?
No, mine literally is just stay in the house.
Come on.
Stay in the house.
Great.
Everything else will sort itself out.
You're a good man.
100%.
Very true.
Love it. I'll give you the $5 later.
I was going to say, literally, you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and to make sure that those 5 people aren't the same person 5 times, to actually have different personalities, different people, different backgrounds that are challenging you, different demographics. If I just had 5 of, you know, young business owners that were my age doing the same thing, there's no difference, there's no challenge, there's no difference of opinion, there's nothing to get you outside of your own little world. I think it's good having people who have the same mindset, which is growth, but then having people who can go, you know, from different perspectives and things. So you're you have more opportunity for growth.
So good. I love that. How wise. Well, you guys are amazing people. We're proud of what you guys are doing. Continue to keep doing what you're doing, making an impact for his kingdom. And, you know, I'm going to keep praying that your business will just continue to keep growing and expanding, and God will bless you in so many ways. But so great to have you on the podcast today. Thanks for teaching us a little bit of something.
Thanks for having us. Very nice.
So good. So
and
good.
thank you for starting Parable.
Let's
Like,
go.
follow, subscribe. Here's my Instagram.
Oh,
The reel comes up.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, guys. Listen, thanks for joining us today's podcast. Again, Luke's already said it. If you loved it, like it, subscribe to it, share it. But it's so great having these guys on board here, and I pray that it helped you and equipped you. But if you want to check out Parable Church, you're more than welcome to join us. We meet at 9 Quarry Road every Sunday. We always say 9:30 for a 10 a.m. start. We'd love to have you there. Be great to have you a part of the service. We'll see you very soon. Signing off for Parable Essentials podcast.